Hey guys, Mike the Viking here, back for yet another video. This time we're going to be doing a little bit of a kind of talking about a specific topic video thing. You know what I mean. And the topic is single player games. And I don't know if I'm the only one, but I personally don't really play like any single player games. I don't know if just the quality of games has been bad recently or what, but like I've not been interested in many games unless they're like open world or like online. Like for example, I guess it's kind of old, but Skyrim, like I put a couple hours into it, you know, running around just 'cause, but I could never like seriously put in like lots of time into that game, just 'cause that game is like mostly story based, if you know what I mean. Like it's cool running around, but the majority of the game, like if you want to understand it, you have to like sit and listen through this dialogue, and that's just boring as a gamer, at least for me. So I didn't really enjoy that game because of all the dialogue. Like I just want to play, you know what I mean, but you lose some story. And plus I'm more of a fan of guns, and that game doesn't really have any, so that's another thing I don't like about that game. But anyway, in general, I've been noticing I don't really like single-player games and like story-based games as much as I do other games, like Payday, for example, where you know you might have a few seconds of dialogue before a mission, but you're not like listening through hours and hours of dialogue. And you know, that's mostly about playing with friends. But yeah, even other games like I enjoyed. This one's been out for a while, but Bastion, I think that's a brilliant game. Yeah, Bastion just did a lot of stuff that was like first time and like experimenting. Like I know that it had like dialogue while you were playing, and I mean other games obviously have that, but it did it very uniquely. Basically it commentated over the game. Like people trying to do commentaries on that game failed like totally because there's already someone talking over the game. So anyway, that game is awesome though. I think that was very unique. And that's an example of something that could be really cool in other games, where you kind of have someone like with you the whole time, and you know it's not like taking over gameplay entirely. In other games, because you might be wondering, like, did I like Fallout? And I did, and that's because mostly it had guns, and you know, you didn't. I mostly skipped through most dialogue. You know what I mean? Because it's not like it matters a lot in that game. And that game I mostly enjoyed because of the guns. Like obviously if it was the same game, but like Skyrim, then I wouldn't like it as much. Oblivion, I didn't play it too much really. That wasn't, you know, in my category, because again it was like bows and arrows. Like my ideal game would be like World War II or Vietnam or something. Like that's like my favorite era for games. I don't really like the modern games. Like I mean, I get it, like there's lots of like technology that you can add to your game in modern games, but I much prefer just like gun on gun kind of gameplay. I think it's awesome compared to something, you know, like modern games. There's so many like things happening, whereas yes, there's lots of stuff happening in like World War II, Vietnam, but it's like, I don't know, just more mechanical, and nowadays it's more digital, which is kind of annoying. And yeah, I just prefer World War II shooters and Vietnam shooters, you know, just kind of those kind of games. I think you know what I mean. Like, one of my more favorite shooters is Medal of Honor Allied Assault. It's one of those games, like I'm sure everyone has them, where you like know it perfectly, and even if you haven't played it in a while and don't remember it, when you play it, you're like, oh yeah, I know exactly how this works. But yeah, this commentary is kind of mutated into like multiple, like just talking about games and how they're going. I've noticed that recently, like, I enjoy games that have like more freedom in them, like even if it's not open world exactly, like games where you can do a lot of stuff basically as you want. So like Payday 2, you can, you know, different classes, and that's kind of cool. I guess I like that game because, you know, every experience is different, and that's a really good example of it, because like the maps are almost identical, but because it's like, you know, different and it's online, the experience is totally different every time. Whereas if you play something like a modern Call of Duty, like the experience is almost identical, like in single player anyway. It's like, I don't know, it's just boring, those kind of games. Like even if, no matter how many explosions you add and stuff, if it's the same kind of game every time you play it, like I guess you can have like a really good game that's just long, but then that's kind of boring, like even if it's all pre-scripted and stuff, but I think you know what I'm saying in that area. Just games are better if they're like more open-ended and you can do what you want, whereas the closed area games just get kind of boring, I guess. And yeah, hopefully, you know, all these like mainstream games like Call of Duty and all that, and hope that are like closed games, if you know what I mean. I hope that they all kind of change into like a more open-ended game, and I hope that all these games that are, you know, getting kind of generic and the same, like Call of Duty has been the same for a while now, like I think they've hit a point where it's too much of the same now. Like I hope that they change. Like, you know, I'd totally be up to playing Call of Duty if you know, in one of them they actually made it different and it was really cool, like a different idea entirely. An example of a good company that makes good kind of closed games that are open, like, you know, just good games, are Naughty Dog. Their games like Uncharted and all that, they're really good, and they know when they're done with a world. They don't try to drag out as much money as they can get. So I know with like the Uncharted series, they could have probably dragged that out a lot, you know, 5 games or whatever, and they stopped at 3, I believe. And you know, even this Last of Us, you know, that game looks amazing, and I was really close to buying a PS3 and stuff for it, but then I realized that it's like $60 a game, no matter what game you buy, and I was like, well, I don't want to spend $150 on the console and then $60 a game. Like, that's just dumb. You know, like on PC, even new titles, like with things like hookups, which is a thing. So like, you know, you can get new games for like $25 and stuff, and and it's totally legit too. Like Steam knows about it. But anyway, yeah, I was gonna buy that, but too expensive for me. Just like $60 a game. I didn't want to do that. Anyway, Naughty Dog does a good job on their games. You know, I don't even know if they're gonna make a sequel for The Last of Us, even though the world is really interesting. Like, I think if they were gonna do one, they're probably gonna do a totally different character, like not Ellie and whatever the guy's name is. Like, they'd have to do someone different if they wanted to keep it in the same world. I watched a playthrough of the game, so I kind of know how it works. But yeah, they do a good job about changing things up, and yeah, hopefully more companies go, you know, just become better, I guess, if you know what I mean. Like, these companies are just kind of becoming old now, these companies that have been around for a while, like Call of Duty. And hopefully, you know, games become more like Payday 2 and stuff like that, where they're a lot of fun, and you have lots to do in them. And I know that, like, lots of Gary's like, mods and stuff are amazing like that, even though I haven't played them. But anyway, guys, that's basically it. Tell me what you think about like the gaming industry, where it's going, and if you think it's like what you think. Maybe you like Call of Duty games, maybe you prefer, you know, whatever. Let me know about basically everything I talked about. If you wanted to comment about it, go ahead. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.